Average players are satisfied with good moves. Great players look for better ones. This is a great example from Mantelsul, puzzle number 1158. It's black to play and we're down a full exchange. So very quickly it becomes clear that we need to create some kind of counterplay or attack whilst the white king is not in a very safe space. Now when I showed this position to one of my students, his first three candidate moves were very logical. He considered the captures bishop takes g5 and knight takes f2, but very quickly you can see that it doesn't really do much, they don't really work. So he moved on to another candidate move, rook to f8, attacking this pawn on f2. And this is a very strong threat, which white doesn't have many options to respond to. And after the move f3, my student correctly calculated he can play queen to d5, attacking the bishop and giving up this bishop on e7. And the point is, after bishop takes e7, rook takes f3 check is a fantastic move. Captures, captures, and here black ends up with a very interesting perpetual check, where white can't escape because otherwise we can take the knight with check. My student was very pleased with himself and he considered that he'd solved the position, saving this position and exchange down. However, coming back to the original starting position, it's important that once you've found a good move, you need to take the time to search if you have an even better move. And if we pause for a moment, we should be able to notice that actually if this knight were not on the board, queen to d1 check would eventually lead to checkmate. So immediately we start looking at ways to move this knight out of the way and follow up with queen d1 check. The problem is if we just retreat the knight, for example knight to e5, white can easily deter the threat by playing a move like rook to e1. Now, this is when it gets really interesting. So since rook to e1 is a strong defense to retreating the knight, how could we stop that defense? Well, that's how we come up with the fantastic move, knight to c1. Now, white can pick the piece in 3 different ways, but none of them work because queen to d1 check eventually leads to checkmate. However, it's not the end of the story. When we find a good attack, we should also look for the opponent's defense. White in this position can block up the d file with the move knight d4, and now he's threatening to take the knight. But the sharp ones amongst you will realize that this knight is pinned because of something coming to d1 checkmate. And there's a fantastic move here, queen b5 check. White simply can't take because of rook d1. The king has to run, and we follow up with rook takes d4. And after the recapture, many of you will be very familiar with this smothered mate pattern. Check, 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 takes, and a beautiful smothered mate.